Welcome to Africa Speaks of Today. My name is Stephen Mulindwa, and I do hope that, as usual, you're having a wonderful time. Now, Nigerian election 2023 was something very, very interesting, and very interesting not just to Nigeria, but to the whole of Africa. Of course, Nigeria got its 16th president, that was in February. Yet, this is what we're going to look forward to in today's program. Now, this is the background. In February this year, Nigeria elected Chief Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu as its 16th president. Who is he, and can he deliver where others have failed? These questions are being asked by many Nigerians and non-Nigerians likewise. The All Progressive Congress APC, the party he leads, looks at him as a man of principle and of his word. Nicknamed the Godfather of Lagos, the former governor of Lagos State, many believe now has taken on more than he can handle in becoming a president of Nigeria. With the lawsuits in court about election fraud, malpractices, is it possible for him to win and then lose at the same time? In other words, for the courts to annul the elections. Can the Nigerian High Court do the unthinkable and reverse the results? All bets are on right now on that issue. With me in the studio is Mr. Olulogun Theodore Ochuko. I think I pronounced your name right.
Olorogun. It's not Mr. It's Olorogun.
Oh, okay. Yeah. From the Obedient Movement, which is the Labour Party. And we do hope at some point to be joined by another guest. You've heard my introduction. You've heard what the rest of Africa has seen as far as the elections were concerned. Did he really win?
Thank you for having me, Stephen. Well, I thank all the viewers who are joining this program live. Well, the question you have asked, if he really won the election, the answer is simply no, he didn't.
He didn't win the election?
No.
Where do you base that answer from?
Well, if you look at the process, you know, the electoral process is such that people go and cast their votes, the votes are counted, and the winner is declared. In this case, the votes were not counted, and the winner was declared based on some phony results, which was announced at 4 a.m. in the morning when Nigerians were fast and deep asleep. So if you look at on that premise, you will understand that this man didn't win the election. And lucky for us, we have some results to show that he didn't actually win the election.
Now, the thing is, when you were saying that you've got the results, you got that he never really won the elections. It's like you're doubting INEC, the Electoral Commission, which of course has been running the elections in Nigeria for the past, I don't know how many years now, ever since it was formed. It's like you're doubting them, that they've had Buhari on twice, they've had all the other. What is it that you think this time they got wrong? They got it wrong.
Well, of course, I think the word you have used fits properly. We are actually doubting the efficacy and the election that was conducted by INEC. That you purport, you are purporting that they have been conducting over these years. Now, the thing about processes, if processes are not properly managed, if processes are not best practice, then of course the people in that process will not, they won't get the benefit of the election or of the process, in this case the election. We have had so many elections in Nigeria, and unfortunately they've all come to the same thing. People go to court, and the court is made to decide on the electoral process. So if that's the case, why do we need INEC? We should ask the court to conduct our elections for us, because we have given INEC billions of naira to conduct the election, And they have failed to do that.
Yes.
Now they have asked us to go to court,
Yeah.
where we are spending money, a lot more money again in the court.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, look, rather than have INEC manage the electoral process, we might as well ask the court to do the job.
Yeah. We're joined in the studio, by the way, by Femi Oke, a political analyst and presenter, and also an APC member. Just as you walked in, the debate is here. We're here. We're talking about the 16th president of Nigeria. Obviously, you know Tinubu and what happened in February and what's going on in Nigeria at the moment with the petitions in court. And the key question is, did he really win the elections? This is what we want our viewers to learn. Did he really win? I know you supported him.
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm sorry I'm a bit late.
Yeah.
I heard what the good gentleman was talking about, and his view on the elections. I quite differ from him, as you can imagine I would.
Yeah.
And I'll just put it this way. This election, for me and for most Nigerians, has been a sea change in the way we do our elections.
Okay.
For the first time since '79 and 1960, we had three major parties almost neck and neck.
Yeah.
It never happened only, in '79 when you had Shagari, Awolowo, and Zeke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And previously you had a similar situation pre-independence when you had Zeke, Tafawa Balewa, and Awolowo. So the situation for me is that this was, since 1999, the Fourth Republic, it's been a two-horse race. This time around, it was a three-horse race, and it was very close. So in that respect, I would say that this election is one of the best elections that we've had in our history.
Okay.
And all parties got 1 in 12 states. But when you have multiple parties, more than two, it's not he that gets the majority of the votes that wins, but the one that has the highest number of votes. That's what the Constitution allows. So in that respect, Tinubu had the highest number of votes by a wide margin, 8 million plus. The closest was 6 million from Atiku, and the Labour Party were distance behind. Not only that, you needed to have a spread of votes in at least 25 states, including one of which could be the FCT. Now, again, Tinubu was the only candidate that got that margin, that spread. So I heard that our colleague saying that he thought it was one of the worst elections. He thought that, the fact that the INEC didn't follow procedures and all this kind of stuff. I would say to him, what is more important about procedures is what are the procedures. We should not convolute the whole situation and give hyperbole. The fact of the matter is the procedure is quite clear, and it's in the Electoral Act, and it's also in the electoral in the Constitution, and that is that the collation of results is manual. There was never anywhere in any of the procedures that it says that the collation of results would be by real time uploading electronically. So that's already a misnomer there. So the idea that uploading of information onto the IREF is the same as collation, they're completely two different things entirely.
This was something new that hadn't happened during the elections. But because it was something new, it wasn't tested properly.
Yes.
And that is why
it has been tested, and I'd say when it was tested was at previous interim elections in places like Imo State, Ondo State, Edo State. They had elections where, and even in Osun State, where they used the IREF, and Ekiti State, I think. But what IREF does, it gives the individual voter, let's get it clear now, what IREF's purpose is for, because it's the individual voter's verification. So an individual voter can go onto the INEC's IREF, and see whether the results declared at his polling booth are the same as what is on IREF.
Okay.
That's that has nothing to do. I'm just going to finish. It's completely different to collation. Every party has their party agent at the polling booth, and they sign off there's an EC8 and whatever the forms are. So that is what is used. That particular document is what is used in the election, not necessarily what's on IREF. Of course, what's on IREF and what's on the paper should match. And this is where there's a conflict.
Okay.
And
now, I just want you to jump in.
Yeah.
Peter Obi has been going on. What kind of evidence has he got now? Because, okay, petitions are there. We haven't known the details. But what has he got? What has he got to prove really that?
Yeah, my colleague has put a case for the election, that the election was fair, but I don't think so, and that's not what millions and many Nigerians are saying and know. What we do know is that the election has been flawed. There is a system called BVAS, that was supposed to be used for the election, and the whole idea of BVAS is to verify you cast your vote at the end of the polling.
Was this throughout Nigeria?
Yes.
Throughout Nigeria.
Yes. At the end of the poll, the results are signed by all the polling unit agents. You use the BVAS machine, take a photo of it, and upload into the IREF portal, where the result can be seen. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Results were not uploaded with the BVAS. IREF portal was empty. They announced the result of an election without results coming from the polling units where the elections were conducted. That is, look, I'm interested in a system that will work for Nigeria for now and forever. It's not about I'm not supporting Peter Obi because I'm supporting a system for my country, for posterity, for my children. If we start a system of fraud, what legacy are we leaving for our children? So this is the premise on which we are looking at the INEC process, and we are weeping and crying for our nation. It is not about Peter Obi. No, this is the misnomer. This is where people get it wrong. It's about a sustainable system for a people.
Now, the one thing that most of us are completely surprised about, the technology that was being used. That's why I'm saying it's been tested for the first time. The technology being used, knowing Nigeria, just like the rest of Africa, we don't have the kind of technology like what is existing here in the UK or what is existing.
We don't even have electronic.
The technology was clear.
We don't have all these electronic kind of gadgets.
Steve, the technology was clear.
Yeah.
The BVAS can work without internet connectivity. So you take a picture, even though you are in a remote village where there's no internet, you take a picture. The moment you walk out of that place, all the photos or data you have there, they are uploaded into the IREF portal.
Then what happened?
It was blocked.
It was blocked.
Yes.
By who?
Steve,
that is the question. Meanwhile, Amazon provided the web service for this system. Amazon says they didn't block there was no problem with the portal. So if someone didn't press buttons and tweak and block this, results will have gone to IREF.
Yeah, but does that mean the people used were not clearly trained to do this?
No, it's not about the people.
I just want to hear.
Steve, if I could just intercede. You see, the matter is in court in any case. But what I can't stand is where people say things that are clearly inaccurate. The uploading of votes by Vivas is not part of the collation process. Are you telling me it's part of the collation process?
It absolutely was. And coming from the chairman of INEC, he said it he came to the UK here and he said it in Chatham House that the result will be uploaded live into the portal through the BVAS system.
Can I just say something?
Which never happened.
Can I just say something? I'm not disputing that didn't happen, but what you're conflating is collation with the uploading.
No.
Those are not two and one and the same thing. They're not the same thing.
Look,
and we could go on all day about this.
No,
but
this is the problem. Let me explain to him what collation is. Collation was a loophole that the National Assembly created. Look,
a loophole.
The BVAS was designed to upload results to Abuja, to the headquarters of INEC,
but not for collation.
Where the collation will have been done, the results counted in Abuja. But what they did was, after you upload the result on your BVAS machine, you still need to go to another local center where they will physically count and change and cancel results and mutilate the results, which is what happened at the election.
Now,
Go ahead.
How did they get it wrong that it shouldn't really be done in the way that he's trying to explain?
Okay, so the thing is, you already alluded to the fact that we're in Africa and technology isn't necessarily the best.
Exactly.
The idea, and I must put, let's be honest with ourselves, the idea that in every part of Nigeria you can upload real-time data when you can't even get telephone communications in half of Nigeria. This is a joke. But the thing is, the system is based on a manual collation. It doesn't suit the Labour Party because they didn't have even party. Let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
They didn't even have party agents at every polling booth, so they couldn't even verify all the results. And what really actually gets my goat is the fact that they talk about a stolen mandate. And they said that they proved it in the tribunal. And how did they prove it in the tribunal? By just taking the votes from 2 states. They took the votes from Benue State and River State. Whereas we have 36 states. How can you use the votes of 2 states to make and this was a mathematician now, telling me that the votes of 2 states, he can do some voodoo mathematics and tell us that is how he proves the stolen mandate. And I keep asking these Labour Party. Let me finish. I just want to make this point. I really want to get to the point of this stolen mandate. Where are the stolen mandates? Because today they haven't shown it in the tribunal. And let's look at it. They've won in 15 states, including the federal capital. They needed an extra 10 states of 25% or more. So that means there are 10 other states where we should be expecting them to have come to the tribunal showing these votes were stolen at these extra 10 states. They haven't done that. And why is that? Because these states are in places like Zamfara, places like Kano, places like Jigawa, where they didn't get hardly any votes whatsoever, places like in Ogun State, places like Osun State. So what I'm saying to you is that this idea of a stolen mandate is just hocus pocus.
It is not.
We're not going to see.
No, you can't say that.
We're not going to see.
No, you can't. I've given you so much time to speak.
You haven't proved it. You haven't proved it yet.
You cannot say that this mandate has not been stolen. Of course it has.
Which states? Which 10 states did you get?
Across night. Look, when you do surveys,
did you win in
when you do surveys anywhere in the world, you don't go talking to every single individual in the world. You do a sample and you extrapolate that because look what happens in those 2 states, River State and the other one, Benue, you mentioned. That is a sample of what has happened across Nigeria.
So you're doing sampling now?
No, it's not sampling.
You're doing sampling now.
This is the actual fact. Because moving up from those 2 states.
So you want to win an election on the basis of sampling of 2 states?
Let INEC show us the result from Zamfara State. Let INEC show us the results.
Are
no,
there.
They're not.
They are there. Do you,
a lady's face. You call a lady's face result.
Have you been on
INEC uploaded a lady's face as result. You couldn't do that.
There will always be anomalies in it. Come on, let's be realistic now. There will
mutilation. Look, INEC says, you hold on this time, please. INEC says, if you cast your vote and your thumb touches a line, that vote is void. But you know the result they have given to Nigerians, mutilated result, cancelled. They changed some numbers and didn't change the words. Listen, so when it's in the portal. We can go online now. We can go online and see this result.
I'm not disputing. That's the main. Sorry, can I just say that's the good thing that you actually mentioned just there. You can go online and you can see these.
Absolutely.
And about 90% or more of the results, 97% or so of the results are already online. So what I'm suggesting to you, rather than taking the samples from Benue and Rivers, you've got all those results of 170,000 polling booths, which AI and technology, that obedience, they're young, they're youth, they could actually do that mathematics.
We've done
properly.
it.
You've done that math.
Yeah, we've done
and yet
we've got the evidence, and the evidence are in court.
And yet that hasn't been presented in court.
Okay, go ahead. Now, the key thing, of course, Tinubu is the president of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at the post-elections now.
Okay.
The cases are there in court. There will be need to prove that actually this whole thing happened. And if
Can
it's
I
only
just correct you?
yeah.
Tinubu is not the president. We have to finish. Look, you can't laugh about that. We have to finish the court process before he can claim to be the president of Nigeria.
But the thing is, he was sworn in as the president.
It doesn't matter.
Vacuum.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We don't want a vacuum in governance.
Steve, can you see the fantasy line of what
this is
people
not,
obedience are listening
this
to?
is not fantasy.
What I would have rather you had said was that he is the president for now.
No,
you could have said he's the president for now.
He's not the president of Nigeria until we get through the electoral process.
If he's not the president, how comes MFLA is not in position? How comes he's appointed service chief?
Every change in government, they all do that.
So you acknowledge there's a change in government then? Okay.
Of course, Tinubu is there.
All right, well,
he's only there until the process in the court.
Okay.
Until PEPT
determines
who the next president of Nigeria is.
But then if that would have been the case, they would have put somebody there as an independent.
That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted.
This is the thing. No, this is the thing about this is. No, hang on. This is the thing about our African societies. This is sad. You know, this is a process can be so simple. It's 1 + 1 is 2. Not 1 + 1 is 200, 2,000. This is the problem we have in Africa.
Okay, now if I say that can he solve some of Nigerian problems? So you're already saying he's not the president of Nigeria.
It's not. Look. This is not about solving problems in Nigeria. Yes. Anybody can solve problems in Nigeria.
You really think so?
This is about processes.
Can I say something here a little bit? What do you want to be done now?
I want the judiciary, to do their duty. Look, they have a duty of care. They have a duty of diligence. They have duty to perform for the people of Nigeria. Because they happen to be the last stop. Look, if I commit a crime with something, if I do something wrong to you, you go to court.
Of course.
And you expect the court to look at the evidence and say, yes, I actually did you wrong. And then they pass judgment. So we're expecting the court to do exactly that. No more, no less. Look at the facts, look at the evidence, and pass that judgment.
What do you expect to happen in court?
In court, what? I'll put it this way. So the way I look at it right now is that the Labour Party have presented, and the Labour Party and the PDP, they're one and the same as far as I'm concerned. They're both.
No, they're not.
They're both claiming a stolen mandate. The two of them. I don't know which one of them won out of the two of them, because two of them are claiming they won. And at the end of the day, what I'm looking, they're basing it on a number of petitions. One of the petitions is the disqualification of Tinubu because of what they claim to be criminal forfeiture.
Come on, it's not a claim. We didn't claim.
You spoke, I didn't speak. So can I just finish? So one, the evidence is clear that it's a civil forfeiture. It's not a criminal forfeiture. There's a big difference between the two. No matter that will be borne out in the court, and I think the court will show that there's clear civil forfeiture. It's not the same. Then they talk about the double nomination of the vice president. I think there's been previous cases that have thrown that one out as well. Then they're also talking about another thing about you must win FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, before you become the president. Now, if you don't win, it's like having an election in the UK, and unless you win London, you can't become the Prime Minister. This is it's a fallacy.
It's not. Rules are rules. That is a rule in our constitution. You can't throw it away.
You have your say.
Come on.
I'm just
rules are rules. We make the rules in our constitution that you have to win Abuja before you are made the president.
So my view,
if you don't win Abuja, of course.
My view.
Look, in our universities, JAMB will tell you need 5 credits, including Maths and English. If you don't have Maths and English, you don't get the admission. It's simple.
Is it there in the constitution?
It is absolutely there. 25% of Abuja.
Can I finish my point, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
This one is, for one, the laws are being you can interpret them in many ways. You've got
come on. The law is one way.
Let me finish. The law is clearly not one way, because that's why those who have legal luminaries know you've got the golden rule, you've got the direct interpretation, you've got the mystery rule. There are many ways of interpreting the law. It's not just as you say it. And in fact, the word "and."
So therefore, a criminal can walk on the streets scot-free.
You keep on interjecting every time I want to say what I want to say. The point I'm just trying to make to you is that the idea that in a country with 36 states, if you win all 36 states and you didn't win Abuja, according to them, which is the smallest constituency, then you cannot be the president.
Please, state defined. He didn't win all 36 states.
I'm giving you an hypothetical
Is it there in the Constitution as it says?
No. Yes, it's there. It's there.
Let me finish. So where we are, it's about interpretation.
Yeah.
My interpretation of it is that you have to win 2/3 of the states in order to become the president.
Yes.
And FCT can be one of them.
No.
Yeah,
that's his interpretation. It says you have to win 2/3 of 36 plus.
No, it doesn't say plus. It's actually and.
Yeah,
so the point I'm making to you is that and FCT can be one of those.
One of those states.
FCT makes it 37 states.
Can I just finish my point of what I'm saying? FCT is to be treated as a state. That's also in the Constitution. So if it is as a state, then it follows that it can be included in one of your number to get the 2/3 in the state.
But he didn't get 25% of FCT.
The point is, we're going to get to that point, and we're going to see. Like I said, FCT cannot be super votes. It's not a super state. There can't be special status for in terms of the value of those states. I mean, they will have a veto power against any other states. That's not democracy.
All right.
By the way,
if it was put there in the Constitution and as a maybe and not as
no, it's not maybe. It's not maybe.
Well, we went
it's set in stone there. We went through this in previous election. This is not the first time. We went through it in previous election, and it was clear in court that if you don't get 25% of 36 states and the FCT, which is the Federal Capital Territory, you don't become the president.
Well,
it's there.
Their lordships are there to make this decision. But as I said, it becomes a nonsense of the law for you to say you must win 36 states.
Now,
if you win 36 states and you didn't win Abuja, then you cannot become the president.
I didn't want to go on. I didn't want to go on
now because the whole issue is in courts already. We don't know where the outcome is going to come from. I think on that point, I just want to, because the elections were done anywhere, and everything is in the courts of law. Now we are looking at the man, and we are looking at what he's trying to do now. Already with the sackings of the people, what he has done, and the way he has started the 176 raise in petroleum work. All these things that has happened. Do you look at him as a competent man?
Okay.
You supported him.
So I'm a supporter, and what I was
looking at this, and I'm thinking, wow, he suspended the central bank governor. The boss of Economical Crime Agency, frauded the Naira, has replaced chiefs, and is he a brave man or is digging his own grave?
That's a good point. I would say that when you become the president of any nation, you must take the most unpalatable decisions that are maybe unpopular at the height of the crescendo of the audience. That is when you've won your election, because after that it's downhill all the way. So what I suggested, that he's actually brave, and he took the bull by the horns, and he took it straight away from the inception. At the inauguration, he announced what is already a fact, that subsidies is gone. And the funny thing about it is, all the other parties, that is the Labour Party, his candidate, and Atiku, also in the campaign said, subsidies is gone, they're going to remove it. You understand? So the fact that he did it immediately, or he didn't actually do it, it's already gone already. And in fact, it was announced the other day by the former SGF to the president that President Buhari ensured that he extended the period of the subsidies so that it would give APC a kind of advantage at the elections. So the thing is, people are condemning them for doing that because they know that they wanted to win. They knew that they wanted, just like the Naira redesign that was meant to help Labour Party and PDP.
Peter Obi called it a scam. Why did he call it a scam? I mean, he's trying to fix the
if you go into the Nigerian data, you will find there's no subsidy. What is a subsidy? You give crude oil to other nations and you get petrol from them. How do you call that a subsidy? And then you steal money from the coffers of the nation and give to marketers as subsidy. Whereas you have already paid with crude oil. You have given crude oil to, let's say, Ghana.
Yeah.
Ghana manufactures your petroleum product, and in return they give you. That's trade by barter.
Okay.
There's no subsidy.
That's not what's going on.
Subsidy has never happened in Nigeria.
That's not what's going on.
NNPC knows that subsidy has been a scam.
Okay.
Hang on,
Yeah,
I'm not finished.
Yeah.
So on subsidy, there has not been anything like subsidy of petroleum products in Nigeria. It never was in Buhari's regime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in Tinubu's speech on the day he was inaugurated, there was no subsidy. It was a huge mistake. Even the CNN, I was listening to CNN, I was shaking my head. The lady said the speech that was given to her, there was nothing on subsidy. The man just announced it. And look at the effect it has on Nigeria.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. That if it
is
wasn't
sad.
there, then
Look, and then again,
why would it have such an effect if it wasn't there?
No, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Nigerians react to look. People react to their president.
Yeah.
All the wars we have fought in this world came as a result of what the president said, what our leaders say.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
When our leaders say stuff, it boomerangs, it dominoes down to the last man on the street.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at Putin. What Putin is doing affects the whole of Russia.
Yeah.
So that's what this subsidy thing is about.
Okay.
Peter Obi would have done it differently. Peter Obi knows
what
that
would he have done?
he will have stopped the money going to the marketers first, yes, without coming to say, "Oh, I've removed subsidy." There was no subsidy. There was nothing like that. All he should have done was stop the money going to the marketers. Find another way to utilize that money for the benefit of Nigerians.
But you said there is no money.
we
I thought for a
find it
minute you said
No.
there's
That's what I'm saying to you.
I'm finding
they
it
give
difficult.
crude oil, they give crude and get
That's
petroleum.
not actually what's happening, but go on.
That's what's happening.
I'm trying to say, I find it difficult, as you are saying,
Yeah.
what the president says goes down to the entire, if it wasn't there, how would it have affected the
He
entire
wasn't
economy?
there. He was a scam. That's what it was. It was a scam.
Can I come in
Okay,
here?
let me
So
hear what he has
the
to
thing
say,
is,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we must be factual in what we're saying.
Yeah.
There is subsidy, and the way and we know that there's a subsidy because the people of Cameroon, the people of Ghana, and people of Congo and all those places that are enjoying the low-priced petroleum are screaming now that their prices have all gone up.
Yeah.
What was happening? It wasn't just about trade by barter.
Yeah.
You know, if you bring a raw product in at 5 pence, and then they're selling the thing back to you at £1.50, you're going to have to pay the difference, aren't you?
Of course,
so
yeah.
the idea that there's trade by barter, as if to say the finished product and what you gave them are the same value, they're not. So, and remember that we've had so much. Let me finish.
This is the wrong way to put it. No, this is no.
The point is the scam.
There's no major.
Let me tell you what the scam is.
The volume of crude oil we give to them, and the volume of finished product comes.
Let me tell you what the scam is. So the scam was that the amount of petroleum that was supposedly being consumed daily, our daily usage that was where the scam. It's not that it was inflated.
Yeah.
What was happening is that the most of it was coming out legitimately, but they were now taking it across the border.
Okay.
And why would they take it across the border? Because the prices are being sold cheaply in Nigeria, and they can sell it for double the price across the border. Of course.
The subsidy is not even the issue. The issue we are dealing with here is the electoral process.
Okay.
Yeah. The process. Look, Peter Obi says, if you want to call yourself excellency, then the process by which you became president should be excellent.
I think it was.
This process was rubbish.
For you, because your candidate didn't win. Because your candidate didn't win.
I told you about. This election for us is not even about Peter Obi. It's for the generations
about it.
and the future of Nigeria. To do things properly. You live in England. What happened in Nigeria can never, in the history of Nigeria or of the UK, happen here.
Do you think that they've not had bad elections here before? They've had bad elections here, and it's a process.
We must have bad elections.
As you say, it's a process, and I will tell you that, and it's anyone that looks at the figures know that what happened this time round compared to 2015, compared to 2019,
this is the worst election that has happened in Nigeria.
How can it be the worst election?
Because look at the amount of money we spent. Do you know how much we gave to INEC to conduct this election? This is the election where we have given INEC the highest amount of money to conduct an election.
Apart from Obasanjo, there's never been a time where the sitting president lost the votes in his state. It's never happened before. If they're going to rig, we'll make sure we win in Katsina. There's never been a time, apart from the time when Obasanjo lost, where the winning candidate lost in his own state, where Tinubu was lost in Lagos. but we want to rig the elections. We would allow that to happen. We don't. So all this idea that we're going to allow you guys to win 12 states and all this kind of stuff, and it's part of the rigging, is some real conspiracy to rig it in that way. Come on, this is ridiculous.
The thing is, what surprised most of us, non-Nigerians, is that Peter Obi had the youth vote. He had the youth vote.
I think that should be qualified.
Peter
should be qualified.
He had. If you have the youth and the majority of the voters, the way they were looking at the age, even he was leading in
that is the word, majority of not just you. Peter Obi brought a breath of fresh air to Nigeria. He brought new courage.
I give him that.
Yes.
I give him that.
He brought new courage.
Absolutely.
He brought fresh hope to Nigerians.
But that was a lost hope, because like I said, and I tell you why.
Then what went wrong?
That's the mandate we are looking for. INEC rigged the election.
And I'm going to tell you
how do you announce the result of an election at 4 a.m. to the people? The announcement was meant for the people, but the people you are talking to are already asleep, and you make the announcement.
When I watched the American elections, and
results were not, they don't announce results at night.
I don't know, maybe you didn't. You weren't watching CNN.
When you watch CNN,
if you watch, even here in the UK, when the elections are going on, as the results come out, they announce it there and then. So this idea that they announce at 4 o'clock makes no sense.
The election was held on the 25th of February. Do you know when the result was announced? 28th of February.
That's when the result.
3 days later.
That's when collation finished.
What collation are we collating? What are we collating?
Can I just get to your point about the youth? Can I just get to your point about it? Can I just get to your point about
the election 25th of February.
Let me get to the
3 days later. There were still no result, and even the result on that 28th of February were ladies' faces, mutilated result, and you announced.
Can I just get to the thing about the youth?
Can I have Kafemi put in a word at least?
Okay, can I just about the youth, right? So this is the fallacy of the labor movement, is the idea that they control the youth. And I say to them, this is a fallacy, because the youth are spread across the whole of Nigeria. Youth are not only in the south of Nigeria, they're not only in the southeast, they're also in the north. You didn't win the northern youth in votes. You didn't win. You don't know that. We do know that, because the results are out. Those are hold on. The results are out. You don't need to like them. You don't need to like them, but that's your problem. If I can tell you something, I can tell you for free. I can tell you for free.
They saw the fresh hope.
I can tell you for free, Melinda, that if the youth in the north, their votes were rigged, and they voted for Labour Party and they were rigged, they will be out on the streets making noise right now.
That's not true. INEC knew that if they announced the result in the afternoon, there would have been chaos and protest in Nigeria. So they announced it when we were asleep.
Do you think that if Yoruba people voted, even no matter what they announced, whenever there's a rigged election, the people in the southwest, because I'm from the southwest, they go out and they will go on riot. This happened in 79. It happened in 83 when they rigged Omoboriwo, when they rigged Ajasi, when they rigged Ige. They go out on the streets. So I'm just saying to you, the youth vote is not all in unison for Labour Party. It's just like unions. All the unions don't believe in the Labour Party. So the idea that you're going to say like he says, millions of Nigerians are frustrated. Yes, there are, because at the end of the day, this was a result in which neither candidate won the majority of the votes. Peter Obi didn't win the majority.
Tinubu said, if you want, winning an election is not going to vote. He said you go there, you grab the balls, and you run with it. That is sick.
The elections has happened now.
Can I maybe move away a little bit from the elections, in a sense that this, because this has been affecting Nigeria for a very, very long time.
Correct.
The last Sir James Whitson, who was the last governor, colonial governor of Nigeria, said Nigeria is still very much a tribal society where local and tribal alliances count more than the national interest, and at the same time, religion plays such a major role, as far as Nigeria is concerned. And also, in his inauguration speech, he said the South must, that is President Tinubu, if I may call him that.
He is the president.
The South must not only seek good for itself, but must understand that its interests are served when good comes to the North. The North must see the South likewise. This from observers is that the divisions that are existing about North and South, religion and tribal are still existing. Can he solve this? Can he deal with this issue? Can he deal with these issues?
No,
because they have been affecting Nigeria for the last 60 years.
And he poured petrol on all of that.
Okay, how can
Peter Obi
solve that? How can
look,
Peter Obi solve
listen,
that?
One of the things that helps in bridging people together is how much is in your pocket. Look, if you look at the UK, the oil in Scotland, yes, is properly managed. So you and I who are in London and in England, we benefit from the product. You don't go to your petrol station and you run out of petrol.
Yeah, but you're talking about one of the most developed countries in the world. There's a big difference.
But they are human beings. They are human beings. And they are standard for us to look at.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay.
So you cannot say, how will Peter Obi do? Peter Obi had the plans. First of all, he wanted to drive Nigeria from consumption into a producing nation. When we produce, we get income. Okay. We sell our product, and money comes into the and people. I would have been going home now if Peter Obi was president.
You can still go home.
No, come on.
Can I just answer your question? So I believe that President Tinubu is best placed and the most prepared.
No, come on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me hear. Let's hear him out.
I believe that that Tinubu is best placed and the most prepared to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and is borne out in the results. And what I'll say to you is this: during the campaign, as you rightly said, religion and ethnicity was stoked. That's why if you look at the Labour Party votes, you'll find that most of their votes were where? In the Christian South and in the Christian Middle Belt. They rarely showed their head in the northern Muslim parts and in the southwest where they're multi-religious Muslims and Christians. They, apart from Lagos, they didn't do anything. So that just shows you what's happening with the Labour Party. They're not capable of crossing over, in my view.
No.
Please.
You can't be making such statements.
But you make statements and I discipline myself. You need to discipline yourself. So going on, I'll say that President Tinubu is married to a Christian wife, and he hasn't Islamicized her. She's still a Christian, and she's a Christian pastor. So he's definitely got the capacity to unify Christians and Muslims. Not only that, he's also the Jagaban of Bogu, which is in the north. They've given him a chieftaincy title. He's at home in the north. He's at home in the south. He is asked for a government of national unity. He's put the olive branch over to the other side. You can see in the nomination of service chiefs, it's across the board for the first time. One of the service, for in a long while, one of the service chiefs was an Igbo. The Navy chief is from the southeast. So what I'm saying to you is that he knows that he's not going to make the mistakes of what happened in the previous administration, which was seen as being despotic and all that kind of stuff. I think he's got the capacity to cross over and unite the nation.
All right. Now we're coming towards the end of the program. Just
you've given him his word.
You're next. Go ahead.
Just a summary. A summary of that.
Quite frankly, Peter Obi is, or was, is, and will be the best candidate to move Nigeria from where we are now going forward. Yes, we saw it clearly in their manifestos, in what they plan to do for the nation and how they plan to do it. We saw that we gave the North our arm, We tried to bring the Northerners in, and we did. The results were forged. The results are not a true representation of the votes across the nation.
I'll conclude my. Quickly.
You have only 2 minutes.
I'll just say that now's the time for us to. We want to thank God that Nigeria remains a democracy, where the likes of Peter Obi and Atiku can go and vent their dissatisfaction in the results and let the courts decide. We're going to allow the courts to decide. What I do hope is that when the courts do make their decisions, that all parties, including the Labour Party and Atiku, will respect the decision of the courts. Having said that, I think that once the courts decide, and if they decide in favour of my candidate, I look forward to the likes of Peter Obi and Atiku coming forward and accepting the olive branch and coming to help Tinubu to turn around Nigeria, because we need all hands on deck.
I just want to thank you both for coming here and telling us about the elections.
Absolutely.
And, I'm sorry you can't agree on that, but
we're still waiting.
We hope everything will be okay. Thank you very much for listening to for viewing us, and hope we'll be together again for another edition of Africa Speaks.